Today we are going to start our chapter 2. This is data communication system and networking. This is lecture 1, and in this chapter we will understand about the data communication system and the devices, how it works and how we actually use our device, and how network system can transferring the data to one device to another device. So here at first we have to understand the basic information of data communication system, which is called the data transmission element of data transmission system. When we are going to transfer a data from one device to another device, then we have some basic elements, otherwise we can't understand, we can't deliver our data. So that means we need some basic instrument and basic elements. So what is this element? So at first we have to understand those about those elements. So now at first we need a source, then we need sender or transmitter. In this chapter we must call this transmitter instead of sender. Okay, so after that we need a medium, then we need a receiver, finally we need the destination. So when we are trying to transfer a data, that means at first we need the data and we need a storage which can store our data. Like if you want to send image to your friend, that means we need a mobile phone or a device, which device can store your images or store your text. So this device called source. So like this is, it should be our mobile device or desktop or this kinds of electronic device. Those device can store the data. So this is called source. Then we need a sender. So what is the sender? So if you consider that when you are going to send an image, then we need some network, right? So this network actually connected to a router in your house or modem. Okay, so this is called the sender, which device can send the data. Our mobile phone can store the data, and the router or the modem or the wireless communication system can send the data. So that is called the sender or transmitter. Then we need a medium. So what is the medium? Medium actually connect the sender station and the receiver station. Like when you are going to send the data, then your router transferring the data to your router to your friend's router, right? So that means those devices are connected by a medium. It can be optical fiber, or it should be a wireless medium. Okay, so this is called the medium, which medium can connect the sender station and the receiver station. So then we can call what is the receiver. So receiver same as the sender, so it should be router or modem or anything. So after that we need another device, which device can receive our data. Okay, so that means this is called the destination. So this destination should be the same as source. So this is our mobile or desktop. Okay, so that means you can say that source and destination is the same kinds of device, and sender and receiver and also are same, and the medium can connect those sender and receiver station. So those 5 elements are very important to sending or the transferring the data. So that's why we call this is the core components of the data communication system and networking. Okay, so if you want to communicate or if you want to transfer a data, that means you need these 5 elements or these 5 components. Okay, so this is the basic of data communication system and networking. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, our second topics is bandwidth. So what is bandwidth? WIDTH, bandwidth, or you can call as data transmission speed, or you can call this data transmission rate. And also we have another question, that is what is BPS. So the full form of BPS, bit per second. This is BPS. Okay, now data transmission speed, data transmission rate and the bandwidth are the same things. Okay, so if you are asked for the definition of bandwidth, and the definition of bandwidth are the same as data transmission speed and rate. So the definition should be, if you transferring a data to one device to another device, if we draw those device, sender station and the receiver station. Okay, now if you want to send the data from sender station to the receiver station, how much data are transferring from one device to another device per second? Okay, so this data depend on per second. That means if you send like example 1 Mbps, what is the meaning of 1 Mbps? That means this sender station can transfer 1 MB data each second. Okay, so that is called 1 Mbps per second. We have to transfer 1 MB data to sender station to the receiver station. That is called the 1 Mbps. If you ask for the what is the meaning of 12 kbps, that means this device can able to transfer 12 kilobit data per second to one device to the another device. Okay, so this is called 12 kbps. And also you can ask for what is the meaning of 10 gbps. So GB, that means gigabit. Okay, so it means you can send a data 10 GB data to one device to another device each second. Okay, this is called 10 gbps. Okay, now if you ask for like the difference between 5 mbps and 5 mbps, so what is the meaning of this mbps and this mbps? This smaller b indicates megabit per second and this capital B indicates the megabyte per second. Okay, so if you ask for this mbps, that means you have to transfer 5 megabyte data per second. Okay, so you have to understand those topics and you have to be conscious about the smaller b and the capital B. Okay, now so the data transmission speed is how much data you can transfer to one device to another device each second is called the data transmission speed, or you can call this data transmission rate, and also this should be a bandwidth. Okay, if you ask for the BPS, that means how much bit you can transfer to another from another one device to another device, that is called the BPS. Okay, when you are asked for BPS, that means you are you have to just say about this bit, not the entire data. If you can if you say like how much data you can transfer to one device to another device, that means you are free from the unit of the data. Okay, so if you log this unit BPS, that means you have to only call this bit. Okay, if you send how much data, instead of how much data, you have to say that how much bit we can send one device to another device, that is called the BPS or bit per second. Okay, do you understand these topics?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, now we have to know about the classification of this bandwidth or data transmission speed. So that means if you have the speed, that means the speed can vary. Okay, so there is a three kinds of data transmission speed or bandwidth. So one of them is narrow, another one is voice band speed, narrowband, voice band, and finally we have the broadband. We have three kinds of data transmission speed: narrowband, voice band, and the broadband. So we have to categorize these kinds of qualification based on their speed. So narrowband speed means very slow speed here. We have to understand the speed is 45 to 300 bps. Okay, then voice band contain the speed is 9600 bps. You can also call this 9.6 kbps. If you divide this unit, divide this data by 1000, then we'll get this 9.6. So 9600 bps also, you can call this 9.6 kbps. Now the broadband speed starting from 1 mbps, and this should be 1 gbps. Okay, 1 gbps. So this is the range of this data transmission speed. So narrowband speed is very slower speed. We have 45 to 300 bps only. Here we used this speed when we are using telegraph, or when the network actually invented in the beginning of the civilization, where we are just trying to communicate our basic data or very important data. Like if you want to transmit application to Bangladesh High Commission, to US High Commission, then the text, then the letter only contain the text only. So this kinds of text is a very smaller size of text we have there. So that means when we need to transmit the basic element or basic words, so then these kinds of data actually are very smaller size of unit. Okay, then we don't need a very larger speed, and the beginning of the internet we have a very slower speed. Okay, so that's why on this time we have very smaller data, and we have to transferring our data through this narrowband speed. So you can the example is telegraph or these kinds of transmission system. Also the use case of voice band is our telephone, which is our land phone actually. So land phone can transfer the data in voice band speed. Another example of the voice band speed is when we are going to transfer a data to our computer, to any kinds of pen drive or any kinds of memory card, then this those transmission speed actually contain this voice band speed. Okay, so finally we have the broadband speed, and this speed is very useful in our daily life. We are using this broadband speed in our router or mobile phone data transmission system. Like when you are using share it, like if you are going to send a image which is 5 mbps, then you are sending this image to your friends mobiles. So then you need only like 5 seconds. So that means you have 1 mbps. That means the speed is 1 mbps. So this speed is called the broadband speed, because this broadband speed starting from this 1 mbps and it's on like it's 1 gbps. So it's not necessary to have internet connection to explain the internet speed or broadband speed. Broadband speed only means the data transmission speed, not the internet. Okay, so we have the broadband connection in our house. Okay, this connection can transfer the data higher than 1 mbps. So that's why we are calling that the broadband speed. But the broadband speed can vary. Okay, this is not necessary to explain the broadband only for internet. Okay, it should be anywhere where you have the speed higher than 1 mbps, then those kinds of speed should be a broadband speed. Okay, so we have three kinds of speed: narrowband, voice band, and the broadband. And if I want to give an example, the narrowband speed is such a slower speed that if you want to transfer this 5 mbps data to your phone, to your friend's phone, then if the speed is narrowband, then it will take 5 to 7 hours, okay, to send this 5 mbps data. So this is a very slower speed. This is called the narrowband, and today we are not using this kinds of speed for transferring higher scale data. So that's why we have to use these kinds of broadband connection. Okay, do you get this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we have to learn about the data transmission method. Data transmission methods. So the classification of data transmission method is there is two kinds of data transmission method. One of them is serial method, serial, and the parallel method. So we have two kinds of methods. So at first I'm going to present you about the parallel method. So what is the parallel method? Like, consider that this is a sender station and this is a receiver station, this is a mobile phone and this is another one is also a mobile phone. If you send a data, this is A, this is a text data A, then computer will not understand this, or the mobile phone mobile or any kinds of electronic device is not understand these kinds of data, right? Because this is our language, so they must transfer this language to their language, that means to the binary language. Okay, so we already explained the binary of this A. Can you remember that? A to Z. Okay, Z, capital A to capital Z, the roll number is 65 to 90. This number is in decimal number system, and smaller a to smaller z is 97 to 122. So this is the actually roll number or unique code for each character. So this uppercase, or this is a this A is in uppercase, that means this A indicates 65 in decimal number. If you convert this 65 to binary number system, you will get 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 1. So this is 8-bit binary. So when we are going to send this A, so this A should be like this 4 5. So this is the 8-bit binary. So when we want to send this A, then they need a different line to transfer each of the bit. Okay, so we have 8 different line for this 8 different bit. So after that we are sending this data in this way. Then our mobile can receive this A. Okay, so that means in a parallel data transmission system, you need a different line for different bit. Okay, here is a 8 different line, 8 different bit, that means we need 8 different line. If you have 16 bit, that means you need 16 different line for transferring those bits. So if you have n type or n amount of bit, that means you need n amount of line. Okay, so this is the category how parallel method works. Okay, now if I want to explain about serial data transmission, so we have to devise again. So now we have only one line to transferring those data. So if you want to send this A again, so now this A becomes 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 1. So now they can't transferring their data in different line because they have only one line. So but we have all the data, so how can we transfer those data? That's why we need another device for ascending those data. So this device can convert our this bit. So this is a converter which can convert our data. So this is a parallel method, you know that, because 0 1 0 0. Now we have one line, so that means this converter convert this parallel method to the serial method. So when they convert those bit, then this 0 starting 0 and this one, after that they will go this one, and also this 0 0 0 0, and finally this one will go there. So after that, here we have to receive those data. Okay, so if you have only 3 bits here, like 0 1 0, then this device can display you this A, right? So you have to receive all the bits for displaying this character. So that means here we need also another converter, which converter receive the serial bits and convert it to the parallel bit. So after that they convert this parallel bit, then they displaying A. Okay, so this is the actual process to send the data using serial method. Okay, and the parallel method use many lines, and the serial method only used here one line. Okay, so this is the definition, or this is the explanation of serial method and the parallel method. So do you understand those difference?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you may ask for the difference between serial method and the parallel method. So you have to explain those difference. Which method should be faster?
The parallel method.
Exactly. So the basic difference should be starting from here, like parallel method is faster than the serial method, and the serial method is slower than the first parallel method. Number one. So this is very important, and this is our advantage, that parallel method can send the data more faster than the serial. That means this is costly. Okay. Now again we have to understand the topics also. A memory, what does actually memory do? Memory is a kind of device, kind of kind of device which can store any kinds of data, right? So when you are going to transferring a data, then you need a memory at first, or storage. So this storage actually necessary for storing the data, and after that they send those data. Like if you write here A B, so that means you have another bit. Okay, so then you need 16 bits, that means 16 different lines. So your device need to store A B C at first, then they are starting to send their data in a parallel method. So they need a storage device. But in a serial method, when we write A, those converter start to convert those parallel bit and they are sending. Okay, after that they are receiving a data. When you are typing here B, so then this B also starting for sending. So after sending this A, this B is start to send. So that means they don't need the storage device. Okay, because they don't store, they just send. Like you can for an example, you can think about your keyboard. If you write anything in your mobile or computer keyboard, those keyboards are transferring your data one by one. Okay, so this is called the serial method. So here you don't need any kinds of storage device in serial method, but in a parallel method you have to use this storage device, because those device can send the data in different line. Okay, so this is the basic difference between the serial method and the parallel method. So do you have any question? Okay, now we need to learn another thing. So the serial method can be many types. Okay, so serial method, the classification of serial method can be asynchronous, then synchronous, SYNC, synchronous, finally the isochronous. Okay, isochronous. So this is the three types of serial method we have based on the synchronization. So a serial method can make and vary. Okay, so this classification based on the synchronization. Okay, if I tell that Aryan is a good girl, okay, so she can be good girl to her mother but not to her teacher. Okay, because if she can't make the highest result, so the teacher must not praise her. Okay, so based on the opinion of her mother, she is a very good girl. Okay, so the classification of the serial method can be changed based on their position. So if you are thinking about the synchronization, so based on the synchronization, the serial method are three types: asynchronous, synchronous and isochronous. So we must learn these topics in our next class. Okay, so in this class we learn something about data transmission system and come in networking. So here we need 5 elements or 5 components: sender, transmitter, medium, receiver and the destination, where source and destination is the same things, and sender and receiver are the same thing also. There is a medium which can connect those sender and receiver station. Okay, it should be a cable in your router, optical fiber cable or internet cable is the mainly the medium or the connector of those device. So again then we will learn here bandwidth or data transmission speed or data transmission rate, which actually explain the ratio how the data sent to one device to the another device. So now, and this is the classification of the data transmission system. There is three kinds of data transmission system. The data transmission speed: narrowband, voice band and the broadband, where narrowband is a very slower process, voiceband is the medium speed, and broadband contain the high speed internet or high speed data transmission connection. So finally the method, the data transmission method should be two types of method here. We know that serial method and the parallel method. Serial method can transfer the data in one line. You can call this bit by bit, they can transfer the data bit by bit, and the parallel method send all the bit in different line. Okay, so if you have n amount of bit, so they need n amount of line to transfer the data. So this is a very important MCQ. You can ask for your question. So if you have n type of or n amount of bit, so how many lines you need to transfer for the serial for the parallel method? So there the correct answer should be the n amount of line you need here. So now finally, based on the synchronization, the serial method can be three types. So asynchronous, synchronous and isochronous. We have to understand those topics in details in our next lecture. Do you have any question from this lecture? আচ্ছা, কারো কোনো সমস্যা নেই, আমি তাহলে এটা ধরে নিলাম। আচ্ছা, আমার কথা কি তোমাদের বুঝতে অসুবিধা হচ্ছে কোনো কারণে? আমাকে একটু বলতে হবে, কিন্তু মাইক্রোফোনটা অন করে আমাকে একটু বলো 1 মিনিটে। ওকে, না ওই নেটওয়ার্কে বললা তো সমস্যা, এছাড়াও যদি যে কোনো প্রবলেম হয় আমাকে কিন্তু সাথে সাথেই জানাবা। ওকে, তোমাদের হচ্ছে বোঝাটা গুরুত্বপূর্ণ এবং আমার সর্বোচ্চটা দিয়ে তোমাদেরকে বোঝানোটা গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। বইয়ের মধ্যে এখন হচ্ছে তোমরা আজকে বইয়ের মধ্যে থেকে এগুলোকে ভালো করে রিভাইজ করো, ভালো করে দেখো আজকে যেগুলো পড়ালাম। নেক্সট ক্লাসটা আরেকটু ফাস্টার যাব। আজকে মোটামুটি অল্পই পড়াইলাম, যেহেতু এটা এই চ্যাপ্টার ফার্স্ট ক্লাস, তো আগে এই চ্যাপ্টারটা সম্পর্কে একটু জানো, দেন আমরা এই চ্যাপ্টার থেকে আরো ডিটেলস পড়াশোনা করব। ওকে, তাহলে এই গেল মোটামুটি আমাদের আজকের। হ্যাঁ, ডেফিনেশন বইতে দেওয়া আছে, ডেফিনেশন অবশ্যই বই থেকেই পড়বা। আর এটা আমি বুঝাই দিলাম যে নিজের মতো করেও চাইলে লেখা যায়। ওকে, সো সমস্যা নাই, এই জন্য তোমাদেরকে লেখার প্রসেসটা আমি মুখেই বললাম, আর বই থেকে অবশ্যই ডেফিনেশনগুলো পড়ে দেন বইয়ের ভাষায় লেখার চেষ্টা করবা, তাহলে মার্কসটা ফুল পাবা। ওকে, সো তাহলে আজকের জন্য এই পর্যন্তই থাকলো। আগামী ক্লাস হচ্ছে ইনশাআল্লাহ বুধবার। টিল দেন, আল্লাহ হাফেজ।